The art of not speaking. Life in a noisy world. Silence can be your strongest tool. Your calm silence can take charge of the room. Steer negotiations and make others reconsider their choices when they are overwhelmed with chatter. This isn't just about being quiet, it's about using silence like a skilled planner. The most dangerous person in any room is not the one who is talking, it's the person who understands when to hold back. Lesson 1. The study of silence and psychology. People naturally want to fill quiet moments with noise, which makes silence a strong but often overlooked tool in how we communicate. Our ancestors used sounds from their environment to stay aware of possible dangers. This basic instinct is firmly rooted in our minds, causing a strong reaction when we experience long periods of silence in social situations. Silence triggers a fascinating cascade of psychological responses. When there is silence, many people feel something called conversation anxiety. This is a strong need to fill the empty space with words, no matter if they make sense or are important. This discomfort comes from our social nature and the basic need to stay connected through talking. Research has shown that after just 4 seconds of silence in a conversation, people begin to experience measurable levels of anxiety. The human brain understands silence in a unique way compared to other types of communication. When it's quiet, the brain's default mode network works harder, helping us think more deeply and reflect on ourselves better. This brain reaction shows why silence can feel both scary and revealing at the same time. In work environments, this biological response can be used to create strong moments of impact and influence. Different societies have very different views on silence, which makes understanding its psychology more complicated. In Western cultures, silence is often seen in a negative light and can be understood as hostility, disagreement, or social awkwardness. On the other hand, Eastern cultures often see silence as a sign of wisdom, respect, and emotional maturity. Understanding these cultural nuances is crucial for effectively wielding silence as a communication tool. Silence can affect us in ways that go beyond just how we interact with others. Being in silence regularly can help grow new brain cells in the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that helps with memory and emotions. This biological response shows why choosing to be quiet can help you personally and professionally. Using silence on purpose allows for deeper thinking, improved decision-making, and stronger connections. People often feel uneasy during silence for a few psychological reasons. First, silence makes people face their own thoughts and feelings without the distraction of talking. Looking inward can feel awkward for people who are used to always being entertained from the outside. Second, silence can make people unsure about social interactions and what is expected, which can lead to more anxiety and a greater need to communicate verbally. Learning about the psychology of silence shows how it can be used for influence and personal growth. When someone maintains silence in a conversation, they often gain a psychological advantage. The other person usually feels the need to keep talking, which can lead them to share more information than they meant to or agree to things they might not have otherwise. This dynamic demonstrates how silence can shift power dynamics in social interactions. Silence can have a strong emotional impact and can connect with our feelings in a meaningful way. During times of sadness, happiness, or reflection, silence can express feelings better than words. Silence helps people think about their feelings without talking, which creates a deeper emotional understanding. Not using words allows for real emotional connection and understanding. Silence affects how the brain remembers things and makes decisions. Studies show that information learned in quiet moments is more likely to stick and become part of long-term memory. This cognitive boost makes quiet moments especially useful in negotiations, learning situations, and personal growth settings. Mastering the psychology of silence requires understanding both its effects on others and ourselves. Understanding how silence affects people can help us use it more effectively in different situations. Get past our own unease with silence and pay attention to how it affects others. Being aware of this helps us use silence more purposefully and effectively in communication. Lesson 2. Using silence as a strategy. Silence can be very powerful. It can have a strong impact on people, sometimes even more than words can. Throughout history, leaders and important people have used silence to show power, create interest, and keep control in different situations. In boardrooms and political settings, people who know how to use silence effectively often gain an advantage in negotiations and relationships. Silence in negotiations is powerful because people generally feel uneasy with gaps in conversation. When there is silence, many people feel a strong need to speak, which often leads them to share more than they meant to. When you stay quiet at important times, it leaves space for others to speak up, which can lead to useful information or agreements for you. This psychological pressure can work well during salary talks, business agreements, or any situation where information holds value. Think about how silence naturally grabs attention. When a person who usually speaks carefully decides not to, people pay attention. Silence can be very Effective especially when people are together in a group. Some people try to be heard by talking over each other, which makes their messages less clear. However, someone who speaks less often but with intention tends to capture everyone's attention when they finally decide to share their thoughts. The authority that comes with minimal speech isn't just about speaking less, it's about speaking with intention. Every word carries more weight when it emerges from a foundation of thoughtful silence. Leaders who get this idea usually take a careful approach to communication. They leave pauses between their words to highlight what they say and give others a chance to really understand their message. Creating a presence without using words means you need to really understand body language and the energy you bring. Your silence should come across as purposeful instead of uncomfortable or unsure. This involves maintaining composed body language, steady eye contact, and a calm demeanor that suggests you're comfortable with the quiet. The energy you show when you're quiet can change how people see you, making you seem either weak or strong. Not speaking can help protect you from being manipulated when people try to push you for quick answers or promises. Staying quiet can protect you when you take your time to respond. It shows that you won't be hurried into making decisions or pressured into speaking before you're prepared. This practiced pause creates a space for thoughtful consideration and often leads to better outcomes. The power of silence extends beyond individual interactions to broader professional contexts. In meetings, the person who listens carefully and speaks only when they have something important to say usually earns more respect than the one who talks all the time. Using your voice carefully builds excitement about what you have to say and show others that when you do speak, listen. Learning to use silence effectively takes practice and being aware of yourself. Begin by watching how people respond to your quietness in various scenarios. Pay attention to times when staying quiet feels tense or uncomfortable and try to stay with that feeling instead of quickly trying to change it. Notice how being quietly present can change the mood of a room or discussion. Using silence wisely can help you steer clear of common communication mistakes rather than getting into pointless arguments or reacting to provocative comments. Staying silent can be a strong response. It helps you keep your dignity and denies others the reaction they want. This method works well for handling conflict or avoiding unnecessary arguments. Power moves are not about taking over others, they focus on keeping control of your own communication and how you present yourself. Your silence should be rooted in inner strength and confidence, not in fear or doubt. As you work on this skill, you'll see that staying quiet can be one of your strongest tools in both work and personal situations. Lesson 3. Various kinds of silence. Silence comes in different types and each one has a specific role in how people communicate. Knowing about these different kinds of silence helps us use them purposefully in our everyday interactions. Quiet moments come from thinking and reflecting deeply. This kind of silence allows time to think, form opinions, and gain understanding. When someone asks a difficult question or brings up a tough situation, taking a moment of silence shows that you are thinking carefully instead of just reacting. This approach focuses on the importance of good communication rather than quick responses, which often results in more thoughtful and meaningful conversations. Strategic silence is used intentionally to reach certain goals in talks, discussions, or even casual chats. Using silence wisely can change the balance of power and affect how others act. This kind of silence can make people uneasy, leading them to share information, make concessions, or reveal things they might keep to themselves. Being strategically silent takes patience and self-control because you have to resist the urge to speak in order for the silence to work as it should. Defensive silence acts like a protection in scary or awkward moments. Some people respond to accusations, criticism, or conflict by staying silent to protect themselves. Using defensive silence can help stop things from getting worse and give everyone time to calm down. However, use it carefully so it doesn't turn into a harmful habit of avoiding issues or being passive-aggressive. Tell the difference between helpful silence that protects and harmful withdrawal that isolates. Being quietly understanding allows others to share their thoughts and feelings completely. This kind of silence shows support, understanding, and being there without using words during times of sadness, happiness, or openness. Being quietly supportive helps others to feel their feelings and talk about their experiences without being interrupted or judged. This kind of silence helps build relationships and makes connections stronger by showing real attention and care. Awkward silence, which many people worry about and try to escape, can actually be turned into a useful tool. These awkward pauses in conversation can create tension that can be used effectively in sales negotiations or personal talks. An awkward silence can lead others to share information, make concessions, or provide useful insights. To fill the gap, the important thing is to get used to feeling uncomfortable and to see the strength that can come from these tense social situations. Every kind of silence has its own effect, and feeling contemplative silence is not the same as strategic silence, and empathetic silence has a different feel compared to defensive silence. Understanding these differences helps you use silence more accurately. And effectively in different situations, a skilled person in silence can easily switch between these different types as needed. The way each type of silence shows up in the real world is quite different. Contemplative silence usually includes a thoughtful look and a relaxed stance, while strategic silence may come with steady eye contact and a sense of confidence. Empathetic silence usually involves friendly body language and being attentive, while defensive silence often shows closed body language and looking away. How well you use different kinds of silence really depends on the situation and the right moment. A quiet moment that feels understanding in one case might turn uncomfortable or defensive in another. Understand the situation and pick the right kind of silence for that moment. This means paying attention to social signals, feelings, and the balance of power in any interaction. Practicing and watching help us get better at recognizing and using different types of silence. Well, we can learn to use silence better by watching how others do it and trying out different ways in easy situations. This helps us add more tools for silent communication. This understanding changes silence from just not talking into a meaningful and strong tool for communication and influence. Lesson 4. Understanding the atmosphere. Being able to understand the atmosphere in a room is essential for effectively using silence in a strategic way. Just like a good chess player thinks ahead, understands social situations well. To use silence in the right way, you start to notice this as soon as you walk into any place like a meeting room, a party, or a cozy get-together. So dynamics work on different levels at the same time. There is a clear structure: who has official power or control. Next we have informal influence, people whose opinions matter even if they don't hold a formal title. To grasp these power structures, you need to pay close attention. Pay attention to who people turn to when decisions are being made, who can speak without being cut off, and whose ideas are often echoed by others. The feelings in a room are important for understanding when to be quiet. Are people feeling tense and guarded, or are they relaxed and open? Is there a hidden tension or rivalry? Your silence will be understood based on these feelings. During a heated discussion, silence can either help calm things down or make the tension worse, depending on the situation and your role in the group. When it comes to strategic silence, timing is crucial. A pause that is too short doesn't have much effect, while one that is too long can feel awkward or unnatural. Sometimes it's best to stay quiet when people are looking for your response or opinion. When you take a moment before replying, you allow others to think about what they've said and maybe share more than they plan to know. The cultural and contextual rules about silence. In certain cultures, it is common and accepted to have comfortable silence. In some people, any break in conversation needs to be filled right away. Workplaces usually have UNP spoken guidelines regarding silence. A board meeting may allow for more time to think compared to a sales pitch, which values energy and engagement. During silence, body language and facial expressions stand out more. People look at your face and posture to understand what you might be thinking or planning. Keep a neutral yet engaged expression when being quiet. Strategically, your body language should show that you are engaged and caring, not distant or uninterested. Notice the small hints people give when things are quiet: moving in their seats, fidgeting, and trying to make eye contact show how your silence impacts them. Some people might talk a lot to fill the silence, while others may stay quiet, like you, making a unique situation of shared stillness. Power structures are easiest to see during quiet times. Pay attention to who feels uneasy first, who attempts to fill the silence, and who seems relaxed with it. These reactions often show more about real social dynamics than any discussion could. Reading a room means knowing when it's not okay to be silent or when silence isn't helpful. Sometimes speak up. This is especially true when staying quiet might seem like agreeing with something wrong, or when team members require clear guidance. Learn how to recognize these moments just as know when to stay quiet. Practicing helps improve this skill. Begin by watching areas where you aren't directly participating, like a cafe, a waiting room, or a public space. Pay attention to how people interact, the energy that flows, and the unseen connections between them. Next, slowly use these observation skills in situations where you are actively involved. Understanding a situation is an ongoing process. Social dynamics change all the time, and what was effective before might not be effective now. Keep an eye on these changes and be ready to change your approach as needed. The best users of strategic silence stay aware easily, and their responses come naturally from how they understand the situation. A room that is well read sets the stage for everything else related to strategic silence. It tells you when to step back, when to get involved, and how to fit in with others around you. This awareness changes silence from just not talking into a strong way to influence and understand. Lesson 5. Nonverbal communication in quiet moments. Understanding silence goes beyond just not talking. It includes all forms of nonverbal communication. Your body communicates a lot even if you're not speaking. Learn how to manage these small signals to use silence well. Having a strong silent presence starts with how you hold your body, whether you are standing or sitting, keeping your spine straight, shoulders back, and head held High shows confidence and authority without saying anything. This posture helps you look relaxed and confident, giving off a sense of assurance that others will notice. Keep practicing this calm and strong posture until it feels natural for you. Eye contact is a powerful tool you can use when there is silence. A calm and steady look can express a range of feelings from friendliness to caution based on how you use it. When using silence wisely, keep your eye contact gentle and steady, letting your gaze rest comfortably on the other person without glaring. This shows confidence and respect while making others a bit uneasy, encouraging them to fill the silence on their own. Your hands are important for communicating without words. Make sure they're easy to see while resting comfortably in your lap or on a table. Try not to make nervous movements such as fidgeting, drumming your fingers, or playing with things, because these can show anxiety and weaken the impact of your silence. When you move your hands, make sure the movements are intentional and significant. Use them to highlight points or direct attention instead of letting them be a way to release nervous energy. Facial expressions need special focus during moments of quiet. and neutral expression with slightly upturned lips shows calm authority, steering clear of the weakness of a full smile and the harshness of a completely blank face. Try this expression in front of a mirror until you can hold it easily for a long time. Your facial expressions should show that you are engaged in the conversation, but keep them calm and steady without showing any signs of worry or doubt. Your breathing habits influence how others see you and how you feel inside. When it's quiet, taking deep, slow breaths through your nose can help you stay calm and feel peaceful. This breathing method helps keep your chest and shoulders calm, stopping quick, shallow breaths that can indicate stress or unease. Try breathing from your diaphragm to keep this calm attitude easily. Your closeness and where you are can also affect how your silence is perceived. Being a bit farther away than usual when talking can make silence feel stronger, creating a kind of mental space that people find interesting. Stay close enough to show you are engaged, not distant. Understand and manage micro expressions, the small, quick facial movements that can reveal our real emotions. Getting good at controlling micro expressions takes a lot of practice, but being aware of them can help you manage your nonverbal communication better. Focus on your eyebrows, the corners of your mouth, and your forehead, since these spots often show your unintentional reactions during silence. Movement should be kept to a minimum, but it shouldn't feel stiff. When you need to move, do it slowly, smoothly, and with intention. Fast or sudden movements interrupt the quiet and show feelings of nervousness or unease. Move with care and smoothness. Whether you're grabbing a glass of water or changing your position in your chair, the art of silent body language culminates in what can be called comfortable stillness, the ability to remain physically present and engaged while maintaining minimal movement. This state shows strong confidence and attracts others to you. Getting to this level of physical self-control takes practice, but the positive effects it has on your professional and personal interactions make it worthwhile. The way you hold yourself when you're quiet influences how people see those silent times. By understanding these nonverbal elements, you can turn silence into a strong tool for communication, influence, and personal presence. Lesson 6. The role of silence in personal relationships. Silence is very important in personal relationships and can mean more than what is said. In close relationships like romantic partnerships, family ties, or friendships, using silence wisely can actually make the bond stronger instead of hurting them. Many people believe that talking all the time makes relationships stronger, but they miss the importance of meaningful silence. When two people feel comfortable enough that silence is easy, they have formed a strong bond. This situation, often referred to as companionable silence, shows trust and safety in the relationship. Think about couples who can sit together in silence, each doing their own thing but still feeling very close to one another. This quiet time allows both people to be together without feeling the need to talk all the time. In times of conflict, being quiet is very important. Many relationship arguments get worse because partners respond right away to upsetting comments or feelings. By embracing strategic silence, you create space for emotional regulation and thoughtful response rather than immediate reaction. This break gives both sides a chance to think about their feelings and understand where the other is coming from. Tell the difference between this kind of helpful silence and the silent treatment, which can be a way to manipulate emotions. Taking time for quiet moments helps relationships develop and flourish. Like plants that require room to grow, people in relationships need some personal space to keep their own identity strong. This space shows that it values each person's need for alone time and thinking about themselves, rather than suggesting any emotional distance. When partners understand and honor this need, their connection often grows stronger. In family relationships, silence can hold a lot of strength. Family dynamics usually include a mix of feelings and established ways of interacting. When family members choose to stay silent instead of reacting, they can stop conflicts and start new, healthier ways of talking to each other. This is particularly effective during family gatherings or situations where tensions might run high. Being quietly understanding helps build strong emotional connections. When someone talks about their challenges or happiness, the natural reaction may be to give advice or relate with your own experiences. Staying quietly focused while someone shares their thoughts can be more helpful than saying anything at all. This quiet shows that you are fully there and accepting, making the speaker feel really listened to and understood. Friendship also gains from knowing when to be quiet. Close friends don't need constant conversation to maintain their connection. The ability to be comfortably quiet together indicates a secure attachment. Also, understanding when to stay quiet as a friend demonstrates emotional awareness and respect for what the other person is going through. At times, friends may require some time alone to think about what they have gone through without needing suggestions or guidance. Creating closeness through quiet moments takes effort and purpose. Begin by recognizing times when silence can improve connection instead of blocking it. This could happen while doing activities together, taking walks in nature, or just sitting side by side. Notice how the quality of your relationship shifts when you reduce the need for constant verbal exchange. Touching someone while being quiet can create strong moments of connection. Holding hands, giving hugs, or just sitting quietly together can say so much without needing any words. These moments create trust and strengthen connections without needing words. Being strategically silent in relationships means understanding when to keep your thoughts or judgments to yourself. Not every thought needs to be shared, and not every situation needs a response. When you choose to stay quiet at the right times, you show that you respect your loved one's ability to make their own choices. This restraint builds trust and helps others feel comfortable sharing more openly with you. Being quiet together is a skill that takes time to grow. It needs belief in the relationship's base and assurance that quiet moments won't harm the bond. When you start using meaningful silence in your relationships, you'll see how it can help you understand each other better, build stronger connections, and create more genuine relationships with the people you care about. Lesson 7. Listening well. Listening is a strong addition to being quiet strategically. Many people think of silence as just being quiet, but real listening turns it into something active and engaging. This helps create better understanding and stronger connections. Listening well while staying quiet is a skill that sets apart great leaders, negotiators, and communicators from others. By using silence as a way to listen, we allow others to share their thoughts and feelings openly and honestly. This space is a place where people can freely express their thoughts, feelings, and ideas without any interruptions. Many people feel that being genuinely listened to is a rare and valuable experience in today's fast-paced world of interruptions and hurried talks. Active listening starts with being physically present. Face the speaker directly, keep an open posture, and lean a bit forward to show you are engaged. Look into their eyes naturally without staring. It's okay to take breaks in eye contact that feel normal instead of awkward. These nonverbal signals show that you are paying attention without using any words while listening. Try not to think about what you want to say next while the other person is talking. This inner talk often stops us from really understanding what's being said. Instead, concentrate on grasping their message, paying attention to the subtle details and tone, speed, and feelings behind the words. Focusing deeply can show you things you might overlook if you're busy thinking about what to say next. Getting good at processing information during quiet moments takes practice. Make it a habit to create mental markers for important points without judging or analyzing them right away. This method helps you stay engaged in the conversation and understand the speaker point of view better. The quiet moments between what they say give them time to think, helping them understand better. When you stay quiet while someone is speaking, it can really encourage them to share more. When there is silence, people tend to share more of their thoughts, providing extra details or explanations. This natural growth often results in insight that may not come up in a faster-paced conversation. A useful technique is to use minimal encouragers, small nonverbal signals that indicate you're engaged while remaining quiet. A small nod, a slight change in your face, or a soft mane can help someone keep talking while you stay mostly quiet. These small hints help ease the natural unease some people experience during long pauses while keeping the advantages of silence intact. Listening well means understanding the various levels of communication. Look beyond the basic meaning of words. Notice the feelings behind them, any worries that aren't said, and the small hints they might give. Your silence creates space for these deeper elements to surface naturally, allowing for a more complete understanding of the speaker's message. When practicing silent listening, pay attention to the difference between comfortable silence and uncomfortable silence. A comfortable silence is easy and supportive, while an uncomfortable silence can feel heavy or critical. To develop this, keep your body language warm and open and show real interest in what others are saying. Using strategic silence in your listening practice takes patience and self-control. It can be tempting to interrupt, suggest solutions, Or talk about your own experiences. By staying quiet and really listening to the speaker, you can build a stronger connection and have more meaningful conversations. When you listen, your silence should act like a gentle space that supports the speaker's thoughts and feelings. This container offers a safe space and support for genuine expression, while showing respect for their viewpoint. The more you practice this kind of attentive silence, the easier and stronger it gets as a way to communicate. Effective listening through silence means being engaged, not just sitting back and doing nothing. It's a state where you need to be fully present and focused. When you focus on understanding and instead of just responding, you create a positive energy that helps uncover deeper truths and build stronger connections. Lesson 8. Using silence to resolve conflicts. Conflict is an inevitable part of human interaction, and our natural instinct during disagreements is often to speak more, defend our position, and attempt to overwhelm others with our words. Using silence strategically can be a very effective tool in resolving conflicts. When feelings run high, taking a moment of silence can help us see things more clearly and understand each other better than just talking can. When dealing with conflict, the first thing to remember about using silence is that intense situations are usually fueled by emotions instead of clear thinking. When a person shows anger or frustration, their words often come from feelings of hurt or fear instead of reason. When you stay silent during someone's emotional outburst, you do two important things. You prevent the situation from getting worse by not reacting defensively, and you give the other person a chance to share their feelings completely without being interrupted. This expression usually helps to calm strong feelings. Imagine a situation at work where a coworker approaches you because they believe you are taking credit for something they did. You might feel the urge to protect yourself and respond back by staying quiet while they share their concerns. It achieves multiple goals at once. It demonstrates oddish respect for their perspective, gives you time to process the accusation, and prevents you from making statements you might later regret. This pause lets you watch their body language and tone, giving you helpful clues about what they really care about. In personal relationships, silence can be very strong during conflicts. When partners argue, the tendency to interrupt, defend, or counterattack often leads to an escalating cycle of hurt feelings and misunderstandings. By consciously choosing silence, you create space for your partner to feel heard and understood. This doesn't mean being unresponsive. It means choosing moments of silence wisely to reduce tensions and open up chances for real communication. When resolving conflicts, knowing when to be silent is very important. Sometimes speak, but those moments are even more powerful when they come after a thoughtful pause. For example, when someone shares their complaint, taking a moment of silence before you reply show that you are truly thinking about what they said instead of just waiting to talk. Taking a moment to think can turn a possible fight into a helpful conversation. Being physically present during quiet moments is important for resolving conflicts. Keeping a relaxed and friendly stance while being quiet shows that you're open and respectful. Try not to cross your arms, keep a friendly eye contact, and avoid showing dismissive facial expressions. Instead, take a calm and open approach that helps others feel comfortable. Talking while showing you can stay composed by being quiet. One of the hardest parts of using silence in conflict resolution is fighting the temptation to fill awkward pauses. These gaps in conversation, though potentially awkward, serve an important purpose. They help both sides to feel their emotions, think about what has been discussed, and look at different viewpoints. Feeling uncomfortable during these times usually results in more careful and thoughtful replies when the conversation starts again. Resolving conflicts quietly goes beyond just dealing with problems as they arise. In situations where conflicts arise through digital communication, the strategic use of response delays can prevent escalation. Taking a moment to think before replying to angry emails or messages usually results in better outcomes than responding right away. Using silence well in conflict resolution takes practice and being aware of yourself. Begin by identifying your typical emotional triggers and practicing maintaining silence when these buttons are pushed. Begin with minor disagreements and slowly increase your ability to stay quiet in tougher situations. Pay attention to how your silence impacts those around you and change your approach according to what you notice. The main purpose of silence in resolving conflicts is not to win debates or show that you are better than others. Instead, it's about creating an environment where genuine understanding and resolution become possible. By using silence wisely, you can turn conflicts that could be harmful into chances for growth, understanding, and better relationships. Lesson 9. Digital silence: the power of strategic non-response in today's connected world. Taking a break from digital communication has become a strong tool for both personal and work interactions. The ongoing need to reply right away to messages, emails, and social media has led to a situation where choosing not to respond can say a lot. Digital silence starts with grasping why we feel the need to reply right away. Every notification makes our brains release Dopamine leading to a habit of constantly checking and responding when we decide not to engage we take back. Control of our online presence and communication. Digital silence is more than just not replying to messages. It involves managing your online presence, such as deciding when to post, when to interact, and when to take a break from digital spaces. This thoughtful way of communicating online can improve your professional image, build stronger personal connections, and safeguard your mental health. Think about how not responding strategically can affect professional environment. When you get a tough email, waiting before you respond helps you create a better reply instead of reacting with your feelings. Taking a break allows for thinking things over and usually leads to improved results in online negotiations. Taking your time to respond can give you an advantage and show that you're in control of the situation. Not saying anything on social media can have a strong impact in an era where many feel compelled to share every thought and experience. Choosing not to post about certain events or achievements can create an aura of mystery and intrigue. This careful sharing keeps your privacy intact while creating a more focused and meaningful online presence. Setting digital boundaries is important for keeping relationships and professional interactions healthy. By establishing clear patterns of response times and availability, you set expectations for digital interaction. This could involve not answering work messages after specific hours, taking more time to respond to non-urgent issues, or sometimes taking a break from social media completely. The idea of being seen but not responded has turned into an effective way to communicate. Reading messages without immediately responding allows you to process information and respond on your own terms. This approach can be helpful in group chats or complicated email threads where quick replies may not improve the discussion. Today's messaging apps let us see when our messages have been read, leading to new expectations for quick replies. However, this feature can be used to your advantage. When you see someone's message but don't reply right away, it can mean different things. You might be busy, you could be thinking about what they said, or their message might need more time to think about before you respond. Digital silence is important for personal branding and managing your reputation. In arguments or intense online talks, deciding not to get involved can help keep your professional image safe and avoid pointless disputes. This method is especially important today because digital traces last forever and can affect future chances. Being digitally silent takes practice and self-assurance. It involves not reacting right away to provocative posts, not feeling the need to defend yourself against every criticism, and being okay with leaving some messages unanswered. This practice usually leads to more meaningful and intentional digital interactions. When you decide to participate, using digital silence well takes practice and being aware. Begin by looking at how you communicate digitally right now. Pay attention to when you feel the need to reply right away and ask yourself if that urgency is really needed. Try out various response times and see how people respond to your new ways of communicating. Notice how a lack of communication in the digital world impacts your relationship, stress, and work results. Digital silence doesn't mean you have to be unreachable or unresponsive. It's about being smart and purposeful with your online messages. Sometimes the strongest message is the one you don't send. The time between online chats can be just as important as the chats themselves. Lesson 10. Meditation and being quiet. Learning to master silence starts from within. In today's always connected world, it's hard to find true quiet moments. However, these moments are essential for using silence well when we interact with others. Meditation and quiet time help you build a better connection with peaceful moments and strengthen your ability to stay silent when it's important. Meditation shows us that silence isn't just the lack of noise, it's a valuable experience that can change how we see ourselves and our connection to the world. When we begin to meditate, we often realize how much noise there is in our minds. The ongoing flow of thoughts, concerns, and random ideas can be quite a lot to handle. This is exactly why starting with brief moments of quiet mindfulness is important. Begin by setting aside just 5 minutes for quiet time every day. Get into a comfy spot, shut your eyes, and pay attention to your breathing. When thoughts come to mind, recognize them without judging and allow them to move on, similar to clouds floating in the sky. This practice helps you get used to silence and shows you how to feel at ease in quiet times. Breathing techniques are important for creating mindful silence. Your breath helps you stay focused when your thoughts start to drift. To practice deep breathing, put one hand on your chest and the other on your belly when you breathe. Start by filling your lower lungs. Notice your abdomen rising and then let the breath fill your upper chest. Breathing with awareness helps to relax the nervous system and brings a calming quiet that comforts the mind. Once you feel at ease with basic meditation, try out various types of mindful silence. Walking meditation helps you stay quiet inside while you move, showing you how to keep calm even when you're active. Walk slowly and carefully, paying attention to each step and how your body feels. This practice connects formal meditation with everyday life. Meditation helps you find Inner calm, which improves how you use silence in social settings. Practicing sitting with your thoughts and feelings without reacting helps you stay calm and quiet during tough talks or negotiations. Meditation helps you become aware of when silence is the best response. Think about adding moments of mindfulness to your daily routine. Before responding to an email, take 3 conscious breaths. Take a moment for quiet reflection before an important meeting. These small practices help you connect with silence and tap into its power when you need it. Sound plays a key role in helping us feel comfortable with silence. White noise, nature sounds, or soft music can make it easier to move into total silence. Slowly listen these background sounds as you become more comfortable with complete silence. Physical spaces can help you practice mindful silence. Set up a special quiet spot in your home away from electronics and distractions. This space is a safe place to build your connection with silence and can act as a reset when life gets too much. Regular meditation and mindful silence offer many advantages that go beyond just doing the practice. You may see better control over your emotions, less impulsive reactions, and an increased ability to use silence effectively in your conversations. The calm you develop gives you strength, helping you stay quiet even when things get stressful. Getting used to silence takes time. Some days your mind will be full of swirling thoughts, while other days will offer peaceful moments. Both experiences are important steps in the journey. With regular practice, you'll find that silence isn't something to fear or run away from. It's a strong tool for personal growth and better communication. Lesson 11. When silence turns dangerous, knowing when to be quiet is important, but it's also essential to see when being silent can be harmful. Strategic silence can be effective, but toxic silence can hurt relationships, slow down progress, and lead to long-term negative effects in both personal and work life. Silence can be harmful when it is used to avoid important conversations or confrontations. Not talking about important issues in relationships can cause resentment, misunderstandings, and eventually lead to a breakdown in communication. Partners who often stay quiet instead of talking about their issues might start to feel more distant with their unshared thoughts, creating a hidden wall between them and work environments. Harmful silence often shows up as not sharing important information or not addressing unethical behavior. When employees stay quiet about harassment, safety problems, or financial misconduct, they unintentionally become part of the problem. This kind of silence can lead to unhealthy work environments where issues grow under a false sense of peace. Silent passive aggressiveness can be very harmful. Using silence to punish others or show unhappiness without talking directly can lead to tension and confusion. This behavior can harm trust and respect in relationships, making it hard to connect genuinely. The silent treatment might feel good for a while for the person using it, but in the end it damages healthy communication. There are key times when it is important to speak up. These are situations where there are safety issues, ethical problems, or cases of discrimination or harassment. Staying quiet in these situations can lead to serious effects that go beyond just feeling uncomfortable right now. Understand that having moral courage often means speaking up. To tell the difference between strategic silence and harmful silence, you need to be aware of your emotions and understand yourself better. Consider if your silence is helpful or if it's coming from fear, avoidance, or a wish to control the situation. Think about what might happen in the long run if you stay silent, compared to if you decide to speak out. Good communication means knowing when to talk and when to listen. When problems come up that impact relationships, work, or personal health, talking about them directly is usually better than staying quiet. Not every thought needs to be spoken out loud, but important issues should be given the attention and discussion they deserve. To overcome toxic silence, build assertiveness skills and improve communication. This involves picking the right time to talk, using suitable words, and sharing ideas and worries clearly. While staying polite, you can speak up without harming your relationship. Sometimes professional help might be necessary to overcome patterns of harmful silence. Therapy or counseling can offer ways to improve communication and help tackle the deeper issues that cause silence problems. Leadership coaches can help you learn how to speak up effectively in work situations. Making a space where people can talk freely and feel comfortable helps stop harmful silence from developing. This means setting up clear ways for feedback, being open to different opinions, and responding positively when others speak up. To share their concerns, changing from not talking about problems to having helpful conversations takes time and effort. Begin with small actions like sharing your thoughts in easy situations before moving on to tougher discussions. Finding your voice doesn't mean you can't use silence effectively. It's about understanding when to use each tool to your advantage. Knowing the difference between strategic silence and harmful silence helps you keep the advantages of quietness while steering clear of its possible downsides. Knowing when to speak is part of the skill of silence. It's important that your quiet time helps you grow personally and professionally, rather than holding you back. Lesson 12. Gaining confidence in quiet moments. The Journey to mastering silence begins with building genuine confidence in moments of quietude. Lots of people find it hard to be silent because they don't feel confident enough to accept it completely. This discomfort usually comes from society teaching us that we should always talk and that being quiet means we are weak or socially awkward. The first step to feeling confident in silence is realizing that just being there can say a lot without saying anything at all. Consider silence as a strong energy that comes from inside instead of an empty space that must be filled. This mindset shift allows you to view silence as an active choice rather than a passive state of being. Being present in silence takes practice and an understanding of how your body feels. Your body tends to fidget, move, or show signs of discomfort when you're quiet, especially around others. Begin by focusing on good posture and grounding methods. Stand with your feet flat on the ground, keep your back straight, and let your shoulders drop down. Making these physical adjustments can boost your confidence and help you feel more grounded during quiet times. People often feel the need to talk because they are unsure of themselves or want to show what they can do. By recognizing these underlying motivations, we can begin to address them directly. Practice sitting with the discomfort of silence in low-stake situations. First, begin by spending short amounts of time alone and then slowly extend that time as you feel more comfortable. Next, try to stay quiet in social situations where you usually feel the need to talk more than needed. A good way to build confidence in silence is to practice the power pause. When someone asks you something or makes a statement, take a moment to wait 3 to 5 seconds before you reply. This pause has several benefits. It shows you are thoughtful, gives you time to come up with better answers, and helps you get used to the natural tension that silence brings. Visualization is important for building quiet confidence. Picture yourself as a mountain, strong, steady, quietly present. Mountains don't need to justify their existence through noise or movement. Their mere presence commands respect and attention. Keep this image in mind when you find yourself in situations where you might feel the urge to talk more than needed. Another key part of building confidence in silence is figuring out what speech is necessary and what is not. Sometimes silence has a purpose and not every word spoken is unnecessary. The confident practitioner of silence knows when to remain quiet and when to speak with purpose. Understanding this comes from practicing and closely watching how your silence affects those around you. The development of silent confidence also requires you to become comfortable with others' discomfort. People around you might try to break your silence, interpret it negatively, or feel uneasy. Your ability to maintain composure during these moments is crucial. Remember that their discomfort is often a reflection of their own relationship with silence, not a judgment of your choice to remain quiet. Using strategic silence at work can really help you feel more confident. Begin with simple steps, such as pausing for a moment before you speak in meetings or avoiding unnecessary comments to fill silence. Notice how these times of holding back often result in others sharing more useful information or disclosing important details they might have otherwise kept private. Doing physical exercises can boost your quiet confidence. Deep breathing exercises, meditation, and mindful walking can help you stay calm and focused during quiet moments. These practices help you build a better link between your mind and body, making it simpler to stay confidently quiet in tough situations. As you become more comfortable with silence, you'll see a change in how people view and engage with you. Many people see wisdom, authority, and thoughtfulness in those who can stay quietly calm. This positive feedback loop further reinforces your confidence, creating a self-sustaining cycle of growth in your practice of strategic silence. Gaining confidence in silence takes time. Every little win and every time you choose to stay quiet instead of speaking helps you grow as a person. With regular practice and mindful attention, you can change silence from something uncomfortable into a valuable tool for your personal and professional growth. Lesson 13. Silence as a negotiation tool. Silence is a powerful tool in negotiation that is often not used enough. When used correctly, it creates a hidden power that can change the outcome of any negotiation situation. People naturally want to fill silence, and this can be beneficial for you if you know how to use it wisely. Consider a high-stakes business negotiation where millions of dollars hang in the balance. Once the other party presents their first offer, instead of rushing to respond or agree, you just remain silent. Time passes slowly, making it feel like hours for the person sitting across the table. They start to fidget, wonder about their role, and often feel the need to fill the silence with words that often include agreements or useful information they didn't mean to share. This thoughtful use of silence works on different psychological levels. It shows confidence and control. People who feel insecure or unsure often talk more to explain themselves or to avoid awkward silences in a conversation. Staying quiet shows that you are strong and confident in what you believe. Next, silence can create a pressure that many people find hard to handle. This discomfort often leads others to offer more favorable terms simply to break the tension. When to be silent is very Important in negotiations, there are specific times when silence works really well, like right after you get an offer. When someone asks about your bottom line or when you hear new information, these pauses have several benefits. They allow you to think and understand better. They can lead the other person to reconsider their stance, and they can make your final reply more impactful. Getting good at using silence in negotiations takes practice and self-discipline. Wanting to talk to fill silence to reply right away. These are that require effort to change. Start with small practices like counting to 10 in your head before responding to offers or questions. Slowly make your silent periods longer as you get used to the tension they bring. How you hold yourself is important for keeping a good silence during negotiations. Keep your body language neutral and controlled. Stay relaxed but focused. Keep your face calm and steady. And make intentional eye contact if you show any signs of discomfort or anxiety. It will weaken the effectiveness of your silence. Using silence to create leverage goes beyond just in-person conversations and email negotiations. Taking your time to respond can create similar pressure. A prompt response to every message may signal eagerness or desperation, while measured delays can indicate careful consideration and suggest you have other options under consideration. As negotiations move forward, the importance of silence tends to grow. When conversations get intense, taking a moment to pause can help the other person show their real stance or offer surprising compromises. This method works really well when you also practice active listening. When you stay quiet and pay attention, you help the other person explain their viewpoint more. This can lead to discovering useful details or flaws in their argument. Silence is a great way to boost the value of an offer. When you get an initial offer, staying quiet can often lead to better terms. Without you having to say anything, when there's silence, it can make people feel uneasy and unsure about their stance. This might lead them to improve their offer just to fill the awkward gap. Being genuine is important when there is silence in negotiations. Using artificial or forced silence can be obvious and may harm your credibility. The aim is to use silence in a natural and intentional way as a real part of your negotiation approach. This authenticity comes from understanding the power of silence and being comfortable enough with it to use it effectively. Try using this skill in less important situations before using it in important negotiations. Notice how people respond to your silence and pay attention to the small cues that show when your silence is beneficial. As you gain experience, you'll find that silence can be a powerful tool in negotiations. It can help you get better results and keep your professional relationships strong. Lesson 14. Learning the skill. Learning to master silence is a significant change in how we communicate and understand our own strength. True mastery is more than just knowing when to be quiet. It involves understanding how people think, knowing the right moment to act, and having a genuine presence that communicates a lot without needing to say anything. Experienced users of strategic silence have a natural ability to know when to use various kinds of silence. They blend the spoken and unspoken parts of communication, creating a smooth flow between words and silence. They show their skill by grabbing attention in any setting, negotiating well, and forming stronger bonds with people. To become skilled, you need to practice regularly and improve your technique. Think about the idea of strategic pausing. Those skilled in silence understand the perfect length of a pause for the best effect. If it's too short, the silence doesn't have much impact. If it's too long, it can feel uncomfortable or forced. This timing is based on many real-life experiences and careful watching of how people react to different lengths of silence. Advanced practitioners also understand the importance of authenticity in their silence. They understand that strategic silence should come naturally and not feel forced. It should come from a real sense of confidence and self-assurance and self-assurance. This real silence feels different from fake quiet. People can notice the difference even if they can't fully explain it. Long-term silence strategies focus on developing a personal style that matches your natural temperament and how you like to communicate. Some people who are good at being quiet tend to stay silent most of the time, only talking when it's really needed. Others use silence carefully, choosing the right moments to be quiet for the best impact. Both methods can work well if done with skill and honesty. Using different silence techniques becomes automatic when you reach the mastery level. A skilled practitioner may start with quiet reflection while hearing a proposal, move to thoughtful silence during negotiation, and finish with understanding silence when noticing the other person's feelings. This smooth transition between various kinds of silence shows real skill in the art. Being physically present is very important in advanced silence techniques. Masters maintain impeccable posture, controlled breathing, and deliberate movements that complement their silence. Their nonverbal communication is so clear that they can often share complicated messages without saying anything at all. It takes a long time to build this kind of presence, but it becomes a very useful tool in both work and personal relationships. At the mastery level, the connection between silence and power becomes more complex. Experienced Practitioners know that real strength comes from fostering genuine connection and understanding rather than trying to control conversations with silence. They use their skills to build trust, encourage teamwork, and gain benefits for everyone instead of just trying to be in charge. New ideas and silence techniques keep developing even for those who are very skilled. Experienced practitioners often create their own methods for using silence, mixing and matching various techniques to fit their particular needs and situations. The way silence is used shows the difference between being skilled and being truly great at something. The main aim of mastering silence is not to stay quiet all the time but to gain control over when and how we decide to talk or stay silent. Having this skill allows us to handle any social situation with confidence, as we know we can communicate well using both words and silence. It Chang changes silence from just not talking into a strong way to express oneself and make an impact. At this stage, practitioners show how effective strategic silence can be. Just being there can change how a room feels, and their quiet moments say more than what many people express with words. Mastering the art of not speaking means reaching a point where silence is not just a tool but a natural part of who we are and how we connect with the world.